Hello there everybody and welcome back to episode 14 of my tutorial series for Factorial. So we're already quite deep into factory business here. Today, well, we got expansion and longevity on our mind. So the road to the rocket is a long one still. We need to unlock several technology packs and all of them are more complex than the one before. We will today unlock the necessary or build the necessary machines for oil, because oil patches will be in 1 or 2 episodes up ahead of us. We are quite lucky in that regard. We got one here, one there, so oil is actually really plentiful around us. Currently, our whole factory is going quite well, but we need now new machines to get that oil flowing. I also need to get to pay a visit down here because I have that vague feeling that the magazines might run out soonish. Well, let's move over to this segment. For oil, we need basically 3 buildings. There's the pump jack, the chemical plant, and the oil refinery. So, just checking on those. Yeah, looking good. I rebuilt that train station the other day. To show you in a second. So, the process chain is first the pump jack brings up raw oil, the oil refinery refines it into different products, and the chemical plant is then refining those refined products further. Basically, raw oil, petrol gas, plastic, for example. So is the way. The good thing about all this is we have all the necessary materials for these machines already here available. The bad news is we need to expand our grid a little bit. As you see there, we are currently, well, running out of room. So, well, let's see how we can pull this off. Personally want to expand into this direction so we can totally at least bring up, yeah. So I'll be bringing up the room off camera, and I'll be revisiting you after I have done that with the new building blueprints and all. Alright, and just like that, we have that expansion done. I have just drawn up a couple of walls, did a little bit of a landfill job, so we have a little bit more room. Because, as a matter of fact, I really only want to expand on what we got already. So, let's see. We will need bricks, we got those down there. We will need pipes, well, we need to make them on the site. We need electronic circuits and we need steel. So we don't need anything from these center lines. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to build this back right away. There we go. Let's see. These iron gear wheels, they are of use. We need steel, but as a matter of fact, let's see, well, we got coal and steel now together on one belt. Alright, let's do something that is always useful. Let's separate that again. So here at this point, yeah, that is pretty ideal. We're going to go and go here for a splitter. So as I only want steel here, we're going to filter for steel now at this point. Just like that. Or, well, no, not here. That is wrong. That's not what we want. Forget about this. We split off normally. Let's see. We need to go upstairs somehow. Meh. No, I have a change of plans here. So, this point is where things always get a little bit convoluted and messy. The more you can plan ahead of this phase, the better, because at the end of the day, here we filter for steel. At the end of the day, your how messy or tidy your mall area is, because that's what most seasoned Factorio players refer this chaos to. That's up to you how much spaghetti or how much tidy order you want to have. So we're rolling like this. There we go. let's see. We're also needing bricks, but we don't need those. We don't need those iron bars either. So we're going to go and use this. You can, of course, choose entirely different solutions to the problem. I'm just fidgeting around and trying to show you as many different approaches that I can that somehow make sense while not being overly dramatically bad or anything. Here, for example, we're now splitting off the brick from this line and unite it back on this track. So we have already the bricks, the electronic circuits, and the iron gear wheels and the steel plates together. Isn't that nice? We have pretty much of the stuff that we need already together on one place. So what's now missing? We need pipes. These are made out of iron plates. Good thing that we have these around the corner. So let's check back. We got everything except for the pipes. So I'd say let's get started with a little pipe factory here. Obviously we need that quite much. And obviously it is worth having an entire dedicated factory for that. And I'd say we're producing our oil-related stuff up here. And 3 different machines. Let's go for that. Like I said, find your own solution. I'm just trying to give you a couple of ideas here. Alright. We got now these things together. Now those pipes obviously need to go up there as well. So we're going to output them back here and spaghetti them up back to this track. So something like that. So we have the remaining materials that we need on track. Okay, so the rest is just a case of connecting it up with power. That's that. So oil industry is pretty finicky when it comes down to the different parts, as you see. We are just getting started when it comes down to finickiness of resources and recipes. To be quite honest with you, this is just where this entire madness is starting. But yeah, I personally feel like oil industry is one of the first true challenge spikes in terms of complexity of recipes. But luckily we got everything together here that we need, and therefore we don't have any bigger problems. Let's wire these bad boys all together up, and it'll take quite some time until these machines are all done, especially since we're here working with low throughput. We don't have any high efficiency machines here running or anything like that. Nuh-uh. That's really not what we are here about. So let's give them what they need: long-handed inserters and short inserters. I'm just adding in everything all at once because I assume that they just will grab what they need from those builds. This is for me one of my favorite ways of resolving problems like these. A little bit of a corner where you can't build everything that you need. The thing is here, though, the more stuff we put onto this whole smelter facility back here, the more thinned out or resource inputs grow. So this is a problem that we ultimately need to address. And as you see here, our wild building style is already borderline colliding with our green circuit facility, so we need to move that again. So planning ahead is basically the quintessence of skill expression in Factorio. So don't you ever think bad about yourself if the stuff you're building is a chaotic, convoluted mess. No problem at all. We've all started out like that. And as a matter of fact, I'd even encourage you to keep this to find your own way out of this convoluted mess until you are so sick of it that you're going to go and watch all these other professional tutorials of Factorio where people show you all those optimal blueprints. Personally, I feel like fiddling around with the game and doing your own spaghetti-o before you go for all those perfect ratioed builds. I don't know. I feel like this is something you basically owe the game. And while we're talking about debt, look at the ammo debt that we had here. This is quite nasty issues. This whole mining facility here needs to be nannied by us, and I personally don't like that. But it is a necessary evil currently. We would have much more effort at hand to resolve the problem differently than just running occasionally over there and tossing a couple of magazines up there. I'm still standing to that statement. So, let's research some new stuff. We have recently discovered the the military, or we have enabled ourselves to make military science packs, and therefore, let's start researching better physical projectiles. Since we are expanding casually here anyways, we might as well just go for that, as it is making our ammo more efficient. That's a really important thing. So, while we're talking about really important things, one huge issue at hand here is that our factory is ultimately running out of gas. So we got here only a small amount of coal, copper ore, stone, and iron. These are all very, very depletable resources. So we've already connected ourselves to a bigger iron patch, but honestly, this is still a rookie number iron patch, and we need way more than that. Let me refill those line breakers there. They are just a necessary evil as many other things in the early game. Because once these guys are done here, we can finally properly extract the remaining minerals easier, but right now, these guys need to do their job. So, our steel facility is also pretty much running out of steam. As you see there, the mining machines that were connected here, basically all were out of iron. So this is another thing. We are running currently out of copper and out of iron. We have one extra facility for the iron here, but this is also barely more than this one, and we also need so desperately more iron for steel. So the first thing though that I want to fix today is this side up here. This coal field here is of utmost importance for our factory, simply because we need more fuel. We will ultimately run out of coal by the end of I don't know when, but we definitely will. So let's see. Oh, I forgot to give my my lab's inserters to grab the gray science. I was wondering why nothing was happening. Yeah, stuff like that happens all the time. Whenever you have the feeling that something isn't working as intended, some belt is empty, although it should be full, look back to the cause of the issue. There's always some cause at hand. Alright, we need to pick up now extraordinary amounts of ammo. So I'm really draining my capacities here a little bit. That belt was so beautifully filled, and now it's all gone. But we need now a lot of ammo for our new mining outpost. The coal mining outpost is the last thing that we're doing before we start building new outposts out there, which are connected via trains, because we really totally need that. But this one coal field here particularly is very close by, and we can easily string it into our factory. And as you see there, this field, I'm already nibbling on straws basically. All right, let's check back with our power footprint. Wonderful, we got more than enough. Let's pick up red belts for this one. So let's check. We got mining drills. I am not quite sure if I have enough walls. I'm absolutely sure that I ain't got enough gun turrets, so let's work on that. In the meantime, as you see there, these crates are filling up with products. We need basically only one stack of each to get the whole thing fully rolling, so that is no problem at all. Alright, last but not least, where are my gun turrets? So this is also one issue at hand that ultimately will befall you with this kind of mall system. You will lose track of where things are. That's another reason why I keep, for example, my whole splitters and the whole belt business somewhere else. So I have some sort of a vague order system at hand that will help me to keep things somewhat organized. Alright, let's dump a little bit of brick into these machines, or at least that one machine that requires it. A little bit disappointed. Yeah, well. It's always quite nice to just toss things into the machines where stuff belongs. My inventory is way too full. Let's make a stop by the lab as well. You can, of course, dump everything, all of your excess items that you are bored of, just into a container and blow it up with your guns. That is always an option, but that would be waste. And I don't like to waste things. Aye, my boys. So, just a little up north here, we have that coal patch. This is so close by that I decided that we will go for a red belt connector. Usually this is basically exactly the kind of distance where you could argue whether it's too short for a train or too far for a belt. I personally would say it's absolutely something where I would normally in my private playthrough whip out a train already, because thing here is, if I connect a train up here, I have already the footprint to connect the train from here to there. I will just use what I got already and expand it towards north. We can use it for the next coal patch, for example. But since I want to show you as many different approaches to different problems in this series as I possibly can, we are going to make one belt-fed distant mining ops for once, because I feel like this is something that most new players are intuitively going towards to, and I want to showcase all the pitfalls that this brings and all its benefits, you know? It's not as if it's only bad. So, let's whip out our max rate calculator, and we see here that we have a mere 11 units of coal on the belt per second. I am still going to use the red belt here out of two reasons. For one, it is faster. For another reason, I don't need to worry the least about any distribution whatsoever, because I know that every side of this red belt can carry 15 pieces of coal per second. So even half of that belt is able to carry the entire mining output here away successfully. And I find that a pretty relieving thing, so I don't need to think about placing down things correctly and whatnot. This is, for me, something I like that. Now, next step, we need to wall off this operation. Mining is a dirty job. It creates a lot of pollution, and the biters will almost guaranteed come on over here very, very soon, so might as well already fortify this place. This is also the reason why I picked up that many red ammo magazines, because here again we have another thing that we need to nanny, but not that much longer. We are unlocking very soon new methods of defense that have endless amounts of ammunition. We are firing with energy or with oil. Oil is basically virtually endless, and that's options that we are going to use. But for now, well, is what it is. A little bit of hand feeding in your life, a little bit of handcrafting on the side. That's just what engineers have to do. So, here's one very, very important thing. If you have a red build and you do something like that, you destroy the entire speed of the entire chain. A build is always only as fast as its slowest pod. To make matters worse, this little creep here is not even able to carry the whole 30 items per second. So, red build, red underground build. That's just something you have to pay. It's a price you can't avoid. Now, let's dump a tower here and a tower here. You see towers for alignment. And we possibly need to fortify this place a little bit more. There we go. But luckily we have a very compact shoebox here that is very easily defendable. There we go. And just like that, we got all it takes. So when we look at the map, the attacks can come from pretty much any direction. The pollution, once it touches the biters, it aggravates them. They consume the pollution, and that drives them crazy, sort of. So this outpost here is in a really, really horrible spot, so we're going to use a really, really high amount of turrets around that. And they need to be distributed well. Oh, jeez. Well, I foresee that this thing might get eaten in between. So I also want to cover here a couple of other ideas that might have already crossed your mind. You might have already thought by yourself, what if I just mine everything and then dump it into a box? Because currently, my miners often stop working and then they run empty or run dry because they don't do anything. So you definitely can do that. You just have to keep two things in mind. Everything you put into a box, you need to put out of the box eventually again. And if you want to move a box that has lots of stacks in it, you need a lot of time or a lot of inventory space to move that stuff around. And I ran out of inserters. Ah well, we're taking some fast ones here. You're lucky you're getting the expensive ones today. Well, in a nutshell, buffering, that's what people call this method of stockpiling things into chests for later usage, is in itself never really a necessary thing. You can always rely on extracting the things out of the mineral patches when you need them, and I personally think it is always worth... It is always better to have the stuff on the belt rather than in a chest. But there are, of course, exceptions to that rule. For example, if you have a very aggressive world full of extremely volatile biters, then I would say, yeah, it is absolutely worth extracting the stuff out of this danger zone and into your safe zone so you can dismantle it and your total defense footprint grows smaller. Absolutely. But it's with Factorio, it is just, as always, it really always depends on what the purpose of the operation is. It's hard to say this is the one proper solution. We're playing vanilla Factorio here. A lot of people have by now found for themselves what they deem the optimal solution to the game. That is absolutely true. My tutorial series here, though, is more aimed to show you what you can do and unleash the creativity behind Factorio. Because, you know, you could build that mining outpost entirely differently if you have your own better idea. Please go crazy. That's absolutely in my interest. So, as you see here, the ammo that we drop on the bell slowly spreads through the system, and the outpost is safe for now. Okay, for me, that is good enough. We are going to take our gate now and the red belt and drive it back home. So our coal input for now is secured. 11 units of coal per second should do the trick. I say should because I am fairly skeptical about the ever-growing hunger of our factory. So now we need to find where we can connect this new input into the system meaningfully. That means to me that, well, let's get into there. Our source of coal for this entire factory starts here. We've made a pretty spaghetterino mess out of all that, but it's safe to say that all of our coal originates more or less from this point, and then it gets distributed all over the place. That means if we need to hit this spot, it's very important to check out this spot, you know, one that I'm aiming for right now, because that is where you want to connect your logistics towards to. Alright, I'd say we're going this way, and... oh dear. I need to automate these red belt thingies by now. As you see, there's a lot of things that we need to do, but that is always the case. There's always something to do. Factory must grow. Okay, enough iron to handcraft a few of these. And at this point, by the way, I'll do this one, because it is much cheaper to build the yellow belt hoods rather than the red belt hoods. We see that right here, right now. So while we're talking about that, let's pick up a few of these right there. And, isn't that a majestic, wonderful cliff? Beautiful. So, we need to put a underground belt below the train tracks. That is not negotiable. We need that. There is no way around that. We're chopping down some wood here casually, and now we can bring that one home. Alright. Now we go for that one. Smuggle our way into there. Eventually you have doors everywhere you need them, but initially this is a pretty normal process that you keep crafting doors and such, and whip them in where you can. Alright, so there we go. Now we finally done it. I am injecting this fresh cold stream now via a splitter, just like that. As you see here, the whole system is now saturated with coal. Of all resources, this is, in the early game, the most pressing matter. If our iron runs out, we can't pick it up elsewhere. If our copper runs out, same. Stone, same. If coal runs out, the engines run out, and everything else runs out. And the problem is then you have to start with the burner mining drill all over again, because you cannot even power your electric mining drills for the coal anymore, and it's a bad place to be. Okay, so today we have had our preparations for the oil. Also, we connected ourselves to a new coal field, which will power our factory substantially. With that oil, we can by now also produce solid fuel. The solid fuel, I will use it very likely as the absolver for the coal. So once we hit that spot, we have basically endless power. Because the oil seeps, they, as far as I know, they don't run dry. They just have a fixed yield, which never changes. Correct me where I stand wrong, please, of course. Now, that's today's episode's end. Tomorrow, or next time, we're going to go into oil, my friends. And after that, we're going to connect ourselves into a new copper outpost. I'll be introducing a different way of using train tracks. Yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to that. Thanks for watching, you all, and thanks for bringing up all your creative and helpful comments. I really appreciate. And yeah, hope you guys like it. Feel free to leave more comments, and we're working our way towards that rocket. As usual, a thumbs up would help tremendously to show the algorithm that you liked the video, and... well, sorry. I saw a red exclamation mark. I need to get there and see if my babies are okay. And feel free to subscribe. Feel free to check out the description box if you're looking for a link there to the playlist. That's where you find it. And evolution has happened. They're spitting back. See you all next time. Bye bye.